Podcast doesn't exist. Episode 49, man. Here we are for the Clásico del Mundo de Baseball, man. What a Clásico. It's not over yet, but pool play's over. We started with how many teams, Mitchell?
20.
20 teams. Who knew 20 teams played baseball? 20 whole countries play baseball, and now only 8 play baseball. The other have been sent home. Biggest surprise of the first week.
It was definitely the U.S. almost getting sent home.
U.S. almost got sent home. They tried to do it to us. They tried to set us up to lose. Italy had their secret weapons. We got to tip our caps to Italy, but everyone's prevailed. Italy's through. USA's through. Japan's through. A lot of teams are through. We'll get to that. First of all, let's talk about the viewership, man. They're always bragging about how many people watch this bullshit. So this year's not any of the exception. USA's first game, 2.64 million viewers. Most watched sports game that night. Come on, the biggest sports game in the world for one night. USA Great Britain had 2.98 million viewers. Most watched non-final ever on any network. 101% increase in viewership from 2023. 101%. USA Mexico, most watched WBC telecast of all time. Seems kind of crazy. A 215% increase from USA's lone pool play game on Fox last tournament. So the championship last year, USA Japan, which everyone was so excited about, was 52 million. And this one was what? Mexico USA was not 52 million, 5.2 million. And then Mexico USA in pool play was 5.2 million.
I think when Fox Sports is tweeting that it's the most viewed game ever, they just are completely ignoring Japan stats, because Japanese games regularly have like 30 million viewers.
Yeah. They're not counting Japan. I mean, Japan's numbers are crazy. But
yeah, last championship in 2023, that had 5.2 million viewers.
Pretty crazy. The growth is real. I remember when I started making YouTube videos about baseball, everyone would just talk about how fucking no one watches this shit. Now fucking sport's dying. Now it feels like everyone's like, super excited with the numbers. NBA playoffs last year averaged 4.5 million, so they're beating the NBA playoffs. Wow. Did you see the 84-point game this weekend?
I was confused. I didn't know who Bam was. And so I thought people were talking about Alabama. And I was like, what's so exceptional about Alabama basketball?
Damn, Bam Margera put up 52 or 83. Either way, so attendance is up, 1.1 million fans. Wow, 9.76% increase in the World Baseball Classic. Everyone was talking about it. Kevin Durant tweeted about it. Timothy Charlemagne was there. Bad Bunny was there. Mia Khalifa tweeted about it. Did you see Mia Khalifa?
No.
Okay.
I don't know why you looked at me, but
because I know that's your type.
Also,
of
did
thing.
you say Timothy Charlemagne?
Charlemagne, man. He was in Japan to see the game. Even Palestine tweeted about the World Baseball Classic, which is crazy. So, I mean, it was a big freaking first week, but it was almost a disaster. Just like last year, the same shit happened, where there's like a freaking 12-hour period where everyone's like, this is a bullshit tournament. Everything sucks. USA sucks. USA doesn't take it seriously. This tournament's so stupid, and USA is terrible because the United States really almost did pull off the most embarrassing performance in the history of the tournament. Everyone's blaming Mark DeRosa. I'll be honest, hot take.
You think it was an inside job?
I don't really blame Mark DeRosa too much. I mean, Mark DeRosa has definitely made some mistakes. We can agree on that. But I think his hands were tied a little bit. So the USA's tournament so far, we want to cover it. They start out with Bryce Harper saying this about the 2028 Olympics. Quote, the WBC's been great, but it's not the Olympics. It's no disrespect to the WBC or anything, but everyone knows that when the Olympics are on, everyone's watching. I'm hoping LA 28 happens. So Bryce Harper, again, is saying that he wants to play in the Olympics. Now, I know what Bryce Harper meant. He'd just rather be the Olympics than WBC. But everyone takes this as, okay, look, even Bryce Harper doesn't want to be there. WBC's not even good. It ain't the Olympics. Who even cares, right? So that's the narrative being pushed out. Bryce Harper doesn't care about the WBC. America doesn't care about the WBC. On the other hand, you got like Nelson Cruz on Dominican Republic saying that the WBC is the real World Series. Kike Hernandez was injured. He can't even play. He still goes to be with Puerto Rico. He says that the World Baseball Classic is more important than the World Series, and that's the guy who's played in 5 World Series, so he can speak on that. Junior Caminero for the Dominican Republic said he'd be the bat boy for the Dominican. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not breaking news. The Dominicans take this tournament seriously. And I mean, most teams take it seriously. Not that the U.S. doesn't take it seriously, but it's just not the same intensity as we saw by Bryce Harper's comments. Tarek Skubal pitches game 1, leaves the team to go back to spring training. Another big controversy with USA. Why is Skubal leaving? He's our best pitcher. He's being a little baby. He can't pitch game 2. I don't know. I mean, I kind of go back and forth on that, honestly, with Skubal. Obviously, you want him to pitch. I mean, you get why he doesn't do it, but I mean, is there any, you looked into the injury stuff. Do you think there's any serious, extra concern with WBC and pitching injuries?
I really don't. Even MLB has this super secret data that they have that they won't share with anybody. And they say that injuries aren't on the rise compared to spring training. Like, you're just as likely to get injured in the WBC as you are spring training. But they don't share the data, which feels a little suspicious. Yeah. But for the most part, I was looking into injuries, and there are only a handful of injuries every WBC. And they're guys that are not, Edwin Diaz was the first star to have a big major injury.
Pitching injury?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just guys who you sort of hear about.
I think people are just paranoid because it's I mean, anytime I ever looked into pitching injuries, it's everyone's just we don't really fucking know. It's random, you know what I'm saying? The guys in Japan throw 5,000 innings a year growing up. Guys in America throw 10 a year growing up, and there's the same amount of injuries. So it's what's worse, what's better? How are you going to ramp up? But I guess this thing with Skubal is if he would have pitched the final, there would have been 9 days rest before opening day. So he couldn't have pitched the final and pitch opening day, which I feel is kind of not true. Why can't you? Even John Smoltz on the broadcast was saying it could do it. He could do a sim game, or it was Brzezinski or Wainwright. One of those guys was saying it.
It was one of the dudes who knows about pitching.
Yeah, who knows about ramping up your arm and how many pitches you need to throw by this date and what, we needs to work on this stuff and whatever. But
I don't actually really understand what the deciding factor went into for who got what start, because Logan Webb, Paul Skeens, and Tarek Skubal are all opening day starters.
Yeah.
And yet they're starting 2 to 4 days apart from each other.
Well, I mean,
which would seem like it would cause the same issue.
And, this is probably behind the scenes, and it's something that only Team USA goes through, is that they probably do have to plan for that. The Pirates probably tell Mark DeRosa, you can't pitch him on this day because he's got to pitch on this day. So now, even if strategically speaking, Paul Skeens against the Dominican Republic is the best way to go, they're not going to do it because the Pirates need him more. I don't think other countries and teams are dealing with that, at least not to the same extent. Maybe they're major league guys, but teams like Javier Assad for Mexico pitched game 1 and then pitched last night. He's already pitched twice in pool play.
I didn't even think that was allowed.
Yeah, well, he did it. And
I
mean, that's a major league pitcher. And I would argue that he has more to lose than Skubal. I don't know what his contract is, but Skubal's making he's making 30-something million this year. I guess technically he can lose unrealized gains by a potentially $500 million contract probably. Even Alcantara, same thing. He made some comments being you're not going to tell me not to pitch in this shit.
He just said before we started that he would pitch on short rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have guys even the Red Sox were calling Mark DeRosa saying Garrett Whitlock needs to pitch. He hasn't pitched yet. He needs to pitch. And Garrett Whitlock is a good reliever. But half of the baseball fans who actually care about baseball probably don't even know that much about him.
Yeah. Whitlock, yeah, but that's the thing. That's the same thing that happened last time in the tournament. If you remember, the USA was playing Mexico, and we were getting blown out by Mexico. And we had one game after that against Colombia that we needed to win to advance, and we were getting blown out by Mexico, but we had to pitch Lance Lynn or someone else, 2 pitchers they had to put in the game instead of saving them for the next game because their team was you have to pitch this game. So, and this is the type of shit, and this is why I'm not putting all the blame on Mark DeRosa. We'll get into Mark DeRosa, is that he's balancing this shit. There's a lot of shit that goes into that rather than just run differential and whatnot, which we'll see what happens here.
He did not know about the run rule.
Well, we'll get to that. Okay, so USA, they win their first 2 games. They go ape shit on Brazil, 15-5, then beat Great Britain 9-1. Congrats, guys. Combined scores of 26 24-6, so stomped the first two teams. Then they beat Mexico and go 3-0. Their manager, Mark DeRosa, goes on MLB Network and says, quote, "We want to win this game even though our tickets punched to the quarterfinals." Their tickets were not punched to the quarterfinals, right? So the USA didn't clinch. Mark DeRosa, who's a analyst for MLB Network, goes on MLB Network and says, "Tickets punched, guys. Mission accomplished. We're going to the next round. We can kind of chill this game." Unbeknownst to him, the ticket was not punched at all. So goes into the game. He sits Alex Bregman, sits Byron Buxton, sits Bryce Terang, and sits Bryce Harper. So he rests some of the stars. Before the game, he tells the media that the team was up past midnight drinking and celebrating. There were some, quote, "guys dragging today." So he publicly says that the team was out partying, basically. Partying might be a stretch because he made it seem like we were just having some beers in the clubhouse. But, alluding to the guys staying up late the night before a game. And this is just a great example of why it's different for Team USA, the other countries. This happened in 2023. So in 2023, Team Korea Mitchell squad, 3 players went to a bar after 2 of their games in WBC. So when they were in Tokyo, a couple of their players went to a bar after a game, right? Someone sees them at the bar. They report that these 3 players went to the bar. The KBO did an investigation on these guys. Okay, they went FBI, like fucking NSA type shit. They get written reports from each player on the team. So every player on the Korean national team has to write a written statement about what they know and what these guys did after these 2 games. So they conclude that these 3 players went to the bar after the game 2 times. They said it was the snack bar though, right?
They said it was the snack bar.
They
said they weren't even drinking.
They were going to the snack bar. I love the translation sometimes, but it makes like Korean and Japanese stuff just seem so lame. It's like, what do you do after we go to
Korea? They're big drinkers too.
I
Like
know.
this whole controversy, as someone who is not very Korean, is like, well, they drink a lot, so I'm confused why this is such a big deal.
Bro, I was going through some of the Japanese articles about this and going to the comments. They were so mad. Like the fans of Korea were like, "This is a disgrace to the country. You don't do this. These guys need to be banned from baseball." I'm not even kidding. That was the public sentiment going on for these guys, drinking a couple beers after the game. So the KBO investigates them. One of the players gets fined 5 million won, which is only $3,000, $4,000. Has to do 80 hours of community service, and they take him off the All-Star game for having a couple beers after the game. The other 2 guys had to pay fines and complete 40 hours of community service. So that's the difference. Team USA is just joking about drinking after the game. Korea, you're getting suspended from the team. Now, do I really think that made a big difference? Guys can't have a couple beers after the game? No, it's not a big deal. Okay? I had a couple beers after the Mexico game as well. I'm not gonna lie. I was in Utah, bro. 5% beers.
If you look at his face, you can see sunburn around his eyes from the goggles.
I was skiing out there in Utah, bro. They got beers there, bro. I had some after Mexico. I needed it, But I do think it's a little, it makes you look bad when you kind of brag about going out and drinking and celebrating a win, and then you have to play the next day, and then you don't realize that you actually also kind of have to win this game too, and you're bragging about drinking the day before. I mean, that's the thing about Mark DeRosa. I've said this before about him. Guy kind of rubs me the wrong way because I just feel like he wants to be everyone's friend, and you need a little bit more of a hard-ass manager. I'm sorry, but I think Mark DeRosa, you need to replace him. No, maybe not, but okay. I would like to see Mark DeRosa be replaced.
I don't understand why DeRosa is the manager of this team. I don't think managers in this tournament make that much of a difference. But the U.S. coaching squad has former managers on it. And they have guys who have been on coaching staffs. But D-Row is the guy who gets the manager tab. That's what I don't get.
He's just a likable guy. Should have been Dusty Baker. Someone like Dusty would be perfect. I don't know. I just think he comes off to me like he just wants to be everybody's friend. And it's like, he's like, "Bryce, what's up, Bryce? Oh, Judgy. You're the man, Judgy. Oh, look at Gunner." You know what I'm saying? Like, you need a little bit more, I feel like, dad energy. He's got uncle energy. You need dad or grandfather energy as a manager. Uncle energy is not what, in my opinion, that's not what you need. Can you clip? That's actually a great thing that they need to put in the rule books when they're hiring managers. It's like, is it uncle energy, or is it dad energy, or is it granddad energy? Because you can get away with granddad. You don't want to be too much granddad. You get like a snicker situation, getting mad about Pat Flynn. See, that's uncle energy out there.
I don't know if they can hear it, but there's just a guy screaming outside.
We're in a different void today. Last void, no windows to the outside. This void,
Bro's
windows to the outside.
literally singing in the rain.
To a DC alley, baby.
Let's go. Most powerful city in America, by the way. Anyway, so D-Rose got uncle energy. We need more of a granddad. We need more of a father energy. According to Ken Rosenthal, DeRosa says he later found out that they had not advanced when they got to the stadium later that day, and everyone went in the game knowing they had to win. So according to Rosenthal, or at least, and I never saw DeRosa say this himself, I just read this in the Athletic article, that DeRosa, by the time he gets to the stadium, realizes, okay, I was wrong. We have not moved on. We need to win this game to move on, and everyone knows that going to this game. However, no one believes that, and Mitchell's about to say he doesn't believe it, based on these managerial moves in the game. So Cal Raleigh sits, Bryce Harper sits, Alex Bregman sits, Bryce Terang sits. He starts Nolan McLean. He only has 8 MLB starts. I think he was probably going to start no matter what. He was like the last starter available. Nolan McLean gives up 2 home runs, allowing 3 runs. Sorry, yes. He gives up 2 homers, allows 3 runs. He replaces him with Ryan Yarbrough, who gives up another home run and 3 more runs. So we're off the bat, we're getting dicked by Italy, a team that is not better than us, on paper at least. Brad Keller comes in, gets a double play ball right at him, throws it into center field. This leads to 3 more runs after he throws a wild pitch. So Brad Keller really, screwed the pooch on this one. So at one point, USA is down 8 runs, okay, to Team Italy. And this is bad because a loss here, everyone's tied at 3-1. You got you got Italy, Mexico, and USA. If USA loses to Italy, they're 3-1. Italy's 3-1. Mexico's 3-1. Right?
Italy would be 3-0. Mexico is at 2-1.
Yes.
Every team has the potential to be 3-1.
Exactly. So you're right. So now there's a scenario that if Italy loses to Mexico the next day, based on run differential, USA is out of the tournament. And so at this point, every run matters because it goes down to how many runs you allow. USA had already given up 8 runs at this point. You can't give up any more runs. They put David Bednar in the game, gives up back-to-back singles, then hits a guy. So the bases are loaded. Who does he have warming up in the bullpen?
Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw, who they've already established is a, quote, break in case emergency guy, only going to be in blowouts. The guy's retired. They're literally warming up a guy who's retired. He doesn't play baseball anymore. You know what I'm saying? And you can't give up any more runs. They have Mason Miller available in the bullpen, but they don't warm him up. Now, everyone points to this as being the bullshit reason why DeRosa didn't know it, but like, if you see, we'll get to it later. Bednar gets out of the jam. It's fine. Mason Miller could not pitch more than 1 inning. That's a restriction based on his team, right? Right? That's from the team. That's not like a WBC
I think
rule.
they might have even had something that was like, you can't have him pitch in the middle of an inning. Like, he needs a clean inning.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's true, but I think that might have been.
Mason Miller could not pitch more than 1 inning, for sure. We know that. David Bednar was on a 25-pitch limit, so he escaped the jam with 24 pitches. If he throws 25 pitches, you have to bring Clayton Kershaw in. And DeRosa knows these are rules, restrictions put in place by these teams. So everyone thinks like this was the dumbest managerial move of all time, not putting Mason Miller in, warming up Kershaw, whatever. And it is really dumb, but the only reason he had to do it is because the team restrictions.
Were there any, I know this is my job, but I don't know off the top of my head. Were there any relievers who were off limits because they pitched against Mexico? Like, was Griffin Jax just not able to be used?
Yeah, I bet. I read in the Athletic article that they had no pitchers after Kershaw. Like, Kershaw was the last guy available. Now, technically, all those relievers could have pitched. I believe last tournament in 2023, USA had some pitchers like basically ignore their team's rules and pitch anyway. And there was, I mean, DeRosa, I remember had to go. They were like on the phone line scrambling, trying to get the teams to reverse the rules. But, you know, as dumb as Mark DeRosa seems making these moves, and as dumb as he was saying this shit he said on TV leading up to the game, I mean, it's uncle energy. He just wants to drink beers with the boys and move on to the next round. It's not really his fault when it comes to the managerial moves. Like, I don't think there's a possible scenario where he really didn't know the rules. Like, I think I find that super hard to believe, which as much as it'd be funny, you know what I'm saying, he's such a fucking idiot. Everyone loves to call everyone an idiot. You really think that Mark DeRosa went into that game not knowing the scenario that they could be eliminated?
I think there is a scenario. I
There's a
think
chance?
he was slow with some changes, and some of his substitutions didn't make a lot of sense. He wasn't trying to go for like runs at the end or
Like in
until
what-
like late.
Like
There
in
was
what
one
way?
scenario where Paul Goldschmidt gets on base, and
Yes.
you could argue whether or not he should have been pinch hit for by Bryce Harper. But then instead of using like a guy like Buxton or Terang as a pinch runner for Goldschmidt, he just brings in Terang as a pinch hitter for Clement, where you could have, you know, played around with it. You could have pinch hit Buxton or Harper for Clement and then brought in Terang to play second. Terang's a lot faster than.
But yeah, you should have
Goldschmidt.
pinch ran Goldschmidt.
And then there
and then-
was a double by Terang.
Uh-huh.
The pinch hitter paid off. But then you have a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, who's one of the slowest runners in the league, and he can't get home. Didn't matter because Crow Armstrong ended up hitting a 3-run bomb. But like he wasn't playing for that specific run.
Yes, you know, that is true. I mean, I don't know if there's any frickin' rule coming from their major league teams that's preventing him from making that move. So that was a bad move. I just find it so hard to believe that he did not know that they weren't going through. I mean, would it be an all-time stupid fucking thing to happen?
I also feel like in the early part of the game, you know, he brings out Ryan Yarborough, and Yarborough pitches two and a third innings, and he's not pitching very well.
Well,
If
they can't
run-
replace, they only have they had 4 pitchers left, you know? They
Brad,
ran out of pitchers at the end.
Brad Keller could pitch more than 2/3 of an inning.
Well, didn't Brad Keller give up 3 runs and throw a ball into center field and fucking wild pitch it out?
I mean,
you know?
aside from the error,
That guy was.
you can't say that error happens if he pitches 2 innings earlier.
Yeah, well, either way, I mean, DeRosa definitely took it easy. I think he went in that game saying it's Italy, we're going to smack them no matter what, which, listen, can you blame him really? I mean, Team Italy's offense has a total 14.8 career WAR. Their manager has more career WAR than the entire offense. That's Francisco Cervelli, and he's not really the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? You don't think Francisco Cervelli, best player ever. Their manager is better than the whole team. As a whole team, the United States has 612 WAR, okay? Italy's entire roster has 2 All-Star appearances. The United States have 62 All-Star appearances. Italy has no Cy Youngs, no Gold Gloves, not 1 MVP, no Silver Sluggers, no Rookie of the Year awards. The United States has 6 Cy Youngs, 13 Gold Gloves, 7 MVPs, 21 Silver Sluggers, and 4 Rookie of the Years, and they lost to Team Italy. Like I said, Mark DeRosa is getting all the blame for this one. Afterwards, he says, we knew that Mexico was going to play Italy, and then running all the numbers if we lost tonight with the runs allowed and runs scored and no outs, so I just misspoke, which, you know, he wasn't very direct, but he says at one point that he misread the shit and misread the data and thought they advanced, but then it seems here that he says he realized later that that wasn't the case.
Between his appearance on MLB Network and him going into the press conference, he clearly did learn that he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, when did he find out? Did he find out
Yes.
before the game? Did he find out in the 5th inning, the 6th inning, the 7th inning? And then, because in the 7th inning, it really did feel like, oh, he's now they're trying to score runs.
He's playing beer pong in the clubhouse instead of looking at the numbers. I misread the data.
To be fair, though, I do think it's hard to project how many runs would need to be scored if you lose to Italy, to then find out how you needed to be eliminated. Because I was texting you and I was like, you can't know for sure the run difference that Mexico and Italy can have until the game is over.
Yes. I mean, Yeah, the whole thing, the calculations going into like if you're advancing in a run differential, runs allowed, then it goes to this. It's like it's super complicated.
It's not even a run differential. It's a runs allowed per out versus only the teams that are involved in the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And so
That's why you need a guy who's not Mark DeRosa in charge of the numbers. Okay, if you heard Mark DeRosa talk, he's not, doesn't seem like a math guy. He seems like more of a
feel guy.
He's a sports guy.
I've been around baseball my whole life kind of guy.
He's a sports guy, bro. He's not a math guy, and I'm not a math guy either. But you need some math guys on the staff to do the freaking math. He didn't have a guy doing the math for him, and it screwed him over. So he goes on MLB Network and he does this interview. So that interview he did initially before the game on MLB Network starts going viral. Once people realize like what is going on, USA might get eliminated. The managers said they were moving on, and now obviously they're not moving on. So this goes viral. MLB Network deletes the interview, makes it worse for him, because now they're trying to hide his tracks and make the dumbest excuse ever. What they say? They didn't want to confuse the fans. So they had to delete the interview because DeRosa said before the game that the USA was moving on. Now they weren't moving on. If people saw that afterwards, they could get confused. So, to not confuse the viewers, they deleted the interview. Do you feel like he called them and was like, yo, delete that?
They claimed it was like a lower level employee. And I just think there's a chance someone at midnight who worked for MLB Network was like, oh, shoot, I got to take this offline.
Dude, I can see DeRosa making a call.
You think he called some like low dude who he knew had the login? He's just like, do me a favor, delete the video. I'll give you DeRosa's not. I don't think he has enough money to be making bribes.
He doesn't have to bribe them. They all like him, dude. It's like, if you posted something on BDE, I could say delete it and you delete it, no? Or if I posted something, I guess that's different. but if I posted something
the chain of command is a lot smaller here.
If I posted something on Jack and then you could see Jack's butt in it and then he was like, dude, can you delete that? I'd probably delete it. Saying?
I'd be cool with that though.
Yeah, if Jack said some really mean, some messed up stuff on this pod and he goes, yo, bro, you should probably delete that clip maybe. I'd probably be like, all right, yeah, I'll do it. So that's just the type of boss I am, but I don't know what they got at MLB Network. They're trying to get each other's backs, but it backfired because now everyone knows they're covering up their tracks. And it was just a whole big embarrassment for Team USA, basically. So then going after that game, now the scenario is USA can get eliminated. There was, a pretty decent chance they could. Italy would have to lose to Mexico, and Mexico would have to beat Italy, but score less than 5 runs. So if Mexico wins, and it's a low-scoring game, then Mexico goes, Italy goes, USA is out. Theoretically, they could have just agreed to not score runs, and they could have both advanced. That would be very what's the word?
Sportsmanlike?
Unsportsmanlike. They'd probably get banned from everything. That'd be pretty funny, though. That wouldn't be funny, but...
I think fixing a World Baseball Classic game would be pretty funny, though.
I think it would be bad for the sport, personally. Let's just go through these old upsets, because everyone was acting like this was the craziest upset of all time. USA loses to Italy. Now USA doesn't advance. How can a team this good, 612 career WAR on this team, not advance? So historically in the World Baseball Classic, there have been some teams, really good teams, not advance. The Dominican Republic didn't make it out of round robin. Okay, so in 2009, the Dominican Republic lost to the Netherlands twice in one tournament. The Netherlands, their best player, Kenley Jansen, would probably be the only guy anyone recognizes on this team. He was 21, he was a catcher. This is before he even pitched. They had 5 MLB guys, dude, barely anything. The Dominican Republic has Nelson Cruz, Jose Guillen, Jose Bautista, Miguel Tejada, Jose Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, David Ortiz, Robinson Cano, and Pedro Martinez. They didn't even make it out of their pool, brother. They lost to Netherlands, and not a strong Netherlands team. So I would say that would be just as bad. In 2006, Team USA lost to Canada, which was probably just as embarrassing or bigger upset, the miracle on grass they call it, than losing to Italy.
It was basically the same game as this past game.
Same score. They were up 8. They were losing 8-0, ended up losing 8-6 to Canada. USA's, I would say, would be worse than both of those, though, for sure. Like I said, they have 612 combined WAR 200 more WAR than the second best team in the tournament. They have 6 Cy Young awards, 13 Gold Gloves, 7 MVPs, 21 Silver Sluggers, 4 Rookie of the Year's awards, and almost got eliminated. But thank God, Italy stomps Mexico, bro. And thank God for Italy, bro. That was a good. I think it was good for the tournament. You got a little drama in there. I mean, with 4 games pool play, like this shit is just bound to happen.
You have all of these Americans who go, yeah, it's not that big of a deal, and they're suddenly crashing out watching an Italy-Mexico game. That's pretty great.
I was crashing out. Mitchell was happy. Mitchell was like actively rooting for Mexico, for USA to get eliminated. It was pissing me off.
I think I root for the chaos of it.
LOL, bro. DeRosa's dude. It's like, bro, don't you realize that like Abner Doubleday, we invented this shit. You can't lose. This will ruin the tournament. If USA, not only did USA invent baseball, they invented the WBC. Everyone should be rooting for us. We wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Abner Doubleday in the United States. Judge Kennesaw Landis Mountain. Think about all the American great baseball players from times past.
You want to just name a few?
Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig, Ted Williams. You know what I'm saying? You got put on for the greats, the old guys. But it's all right. We're moving on. Other news, though. There was more controversy with Mexico because Mexico gets stomped out by Italy. And Mexico, everyone's saying how embarrassing the U.S. was and how we almost lost and we suck. But Mexico took mad L's this tournament. Let's not forget. They also lost to Italy, who where they're more evenly matched. But they did lose to Italy, and they did lose to America. And Randy Arozarena starts a beef with his teammate, Cal Raleigh. So here's what happens. USA versus Canada. Last tournament, Arozarena tries to shake Will Smith's hand. I want to shake your hand. And Will Smith says, no, I'm not going to shake your hand. And everyone's like, wow, he's snubbing him. He won't shake his hand. He's leaving him hanging. This is drama. This is drama. He comes up and does it again and tries to shake Cal Raleigh's hand. Cal Raleigh does not shake his hand. But here's the crazy part. They're teammates. So they're rivals on the field, but they're teammates on the field. Different fields. So everyone's like, well, okay, why didn't you shake his hand? This is the second year in a row. They won't shake Arozarena's hand. What's going on? And then Arozarena goes in and it gives the weirdest fucking quote that just confuses everybody. Okay, says this. How do I think I should respond to Cal Raleigh? How should I put it to him? I want to do it in 4 languages. So he responds in 4 languages, but this is all through an interpreter, so we don't even know what language I'm hearing this through. I'm getting different. This interpreter knows 4 languages, I guess. But he says, first in Spanish, the only thing he should be thankful for is having such great parents. He's very well educated. Thank God. I was lucky enough to see him a few days ago at the hotel. He came over to greet me, gave me a big hug, and was genuinely proud to see me again. So that was his Spanish response. Then he's going to give it to him straight Cuban style. So he says it in Cuban, different type of Spanish. What he has to do is fuck off. Okay? And now he says it in Mexican style. That's his third type of Spanish. Go to hell, he says. And in English, quote, that fake ass good to see you he hit me with, he can shove it straight up his ass. I'm out. So, was this real, bro? I don't know. I don't know Spanish, but this is what the interpretation I saw.
I mean, I didn't see anyone refuting it who did speak Spanish.
So I guess everyone's saying, okay, he was joking or what? But very weird response. The guy got left hanging so I can see, but whatever. Cal Raleigh comes out the next day, says there's no beef. I love Randy. When we're back in Seattle, he's my brother. He's family. We are all in together just like I am here with Team USA. I don't see this being a thing at all. He basically says, listen, I don't want to shake his hand because we're competing. It's a competitive thing. He also says, Will Smith came out and said that he told Randy before, don't try to shake my hand. You're going to put me in a bad spot, make me look bad. I don't want to shake hands. You know what I'm saying? So apparently Randy went against Cal Raleigh's wishes and tried to shake his hand anyway. Now, we don't know. Arozarena won't say anything. Arozarena will not talk to the media. So I don't know what Arozarena's got going on. After he says 4 different things in 4 different languages that all confuse us, he says, I'm not talking about it anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. And then Mexico comes out. Alex Thomas makes an Instagram post saying it's personal now, posting it like, how you're not going to shake my hand, bro. Well, sorry, dude. It's just competitiveness, dog. you know, I'm not going to shake your hand because I don't. First of all, this is, and then everyone's pointing to the clip of Venezuela, Dominican Republic, where William Contreras and Fernando Tatis dap up before the game, and everyone says, "See, this is how it's done. Why are all the American catchers pussies? Why don't they want to shake their hands?" First of all, there's a difference because Randy Arozarena tried to shake his hand when Cal Raleigh was already in his squat. So when Tatis daps up Contreras, they're both standing up. So it's like a equal ground dap. When you're towering over a guy, you're mogging him and you're going to give him a dap, that's like, you're trying to low bro him, bro. Like, there's just rules to this shit. If you want to, I'm just saying, I think Randy Arozarena was trying to mog him and Cal didn't let it happen. You don't dap a guy when he's down, bro. Only time you dap a guy when he's down is when you're trying to bring him back up. If you're just going to give him a fucking pound and leave him down there, that's just like a weird scenario. Like, I see why Raleigh didn't want to do that. You're giving the guy the upper hand, literally. You're going to give a guy the upper hand, Mitchell?
I don't think that was what it was. But also, I feel like Cal Raleigh's perspective is you're really going to do this to a guy you got to return to camp with in like a week and a half.
He warned him. He warned him before the game, "Hey, Randy, don't put me in a bad spot. I don't really shake hands before the game." And the Australian catcher did the same exact thing, too. Like, this is definitely a thing amongst catchers where they're like, "Bro, I'm not going to knuckle you before at-bats. We're at different squads. You're not going to try to get in my head." I don't know. I would love to get the deeper psychology around it because Will Smith, I remember, didn't really give a great response in depth, I guess, when he did this last tournament. Cal Raleigh, same thing. He said it was a competitive thing. I think some people speculate that they don't want to do it because they don't want to get pine tar on their hand. And that could also be a setup. I'm sure that happens, maybe. I don't know if that would be that, advantageous to a hitter to like get the catcher's hands a little sticky. But either way, I mean, people want to give Cal Raleigh shit, but like I just said, you can't give the man an upper hand. If you want to dap him up, you're both standing. By all means, that's what Tatis did with Contreras. But, you don't shake a man's hand when he's down unless you're trying to bring him up. Randy, obviously, not trying to bring him up. He's trying to beat him on the field. So it was a disingenuous dap. And Randy, no offense, what happened the next day? What happened that day?
They lost.
Lost. What happened the next day?
They lost.
Lost again. Mexico is out. They lost to fucking Italy. Who loses to Italy, bro? Italy's not even Italian, man. That's what's getting me mad too. When I thought the USA was eliminated, I'm like, how is USA going to lose to USA? No, these Italian people who are American are going to move on. And then Mexico, low-key, are a bunch of Americans too. They're Mexican Americans, so it's a little different. I guess it is definitely different. Italian, because they probably know Spanish, most of them.
I was listening to some of these guys speak Spanish, and it was... I don't speak Spanish, but like hearing their accents, I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
I guess it is not. I guess it is kind of the same. Either way, Italy, we gotta tip your cap to Italy. Italy wins this pool, right? So USA gets out of the pool, but Italy wins the pool. They went into this with 40-1 odds to win the pool. That's plus 4,000 to win the pool. They go 4-0. They win the pool, baby. Number 1 seed in the quarterfinal. They hit 12 homers in 3 games. I guess the number 1 seed, is that even a thing? I guess on their end of the bracket. I would guess that, whatever. Team OPS of 1,038. 4 games, but still. If you did that over an MLB season, you'd be the best team of all time. 12 homers in 3 games. Vinny Pasquantino, 3-homer game. First time in MLB history, World Baseball Classic history. They're going to play Puerto Rico in the quarterfinal. USA is playing Canada. That's a rematch from the hockey game last week, 2 weeks ago. Both hockey games. We beat them twice in hockey. Now Canada's come back for revenge. It would be pretty funny to see that. It wouldn't be funny. Mitchell would think it's funny.
It would be funny.
So you want Canada to beat USA?
It would be funny.
And you can make fun of Mark Taros on Twitter. "Oh, you idiot. You're so stupid."
I don't think I've tweeted once about D-Row.
I hate, LOL. Get a real manager. Get fucked, That's what the haters say. So it's USA, Canada, and Puerto Rico versus Italy, which is interesting because, Italy, it's kind of like a miracle run going 4-0 in the pool. But, Puerto Rico, looking what they got, they're probably favorited, no? They might be favored against Puerto Rico.
I have the odds here.
Well, yeah, maybe we should.
They are slight favorites.
Okay, well, let's cover these teams so we can really give a full recap. Because of Puerto Rico, I mean, going into it, if you watch the first episode, you know Puerto Rico was extremely apprehended going into this tournament. They lost Jose Barrios, Victor Carantini, Carlos Correa, Alexis Diaz, Jovani Moran, Emilio Pagan, Luis Guaneres, and Yaxel Rios. It's like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. I know the first four guys, and Emilio Pagan, I feel like how was he even on the team? If this is the same Pagan I'm thinking of, I don't know. But listen.
Emilio Pagan is like...
I'm thinking about the guy who's like 40 years
Are
old.
you thinking about Angel Pagan?
He used to play for the Giants. And
Yeah,
when they
no,
won
Emilio
World Series.
Pagan is a pitcher.
Okay, I knew it. I knew that. Either way, a lot of those guys are good guys. They also lost Javi Baez to weed. Rest in peace. Guy got too high, can't play. Kike Hernandez out for the injury. So, like, this team got fucked by injuries. I didn't even mention Lindor. Lindor is out because of insurance then and injuries. So all, Puerto Rico's strongest players are basically gone. They have this other guy instead to replace him, Daryl Hernandez. This guy has a negative .6 F-WAR, second worst among hitters with MLB experience in the tournament or just on Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico.
So he has 3 MLB homers. So, this is the guy starting for me. Wasn't even supposed to be on the team after injuries. I guess, and then Alex Cora calls Mark Costa to get intel on Hernandez. Alex Cora never even heard of the guy. He's like, I heard there's this Puerto Rican on your team on the A's. Is he really Puerto Rican? Is he good? They were desperate. That's what I'm saying. Either way, this guy ends up hitting a fucking home run, walk-off home run against who was it? Panama, which Panama's not really a strong team.
This would have been a huge loss.
Yeah. But they won it. They won it in the rain. They played all these games in the rain too. I mean, I guess I've never been to Puerto Rico. Does it just only rain there 24/7?
Might be rainy season.
It's rainy season. Which
I feel like rainy season would be...
Spring is sprung, brother.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, every game, any of these this was pool A, pool D, one of the pools. Every single game, you'd be like, oh, it's delayed. It's supposed to start at 6, hour and 15-minute delay.
It's funny because there hasn't been one walk-off home run in World Baseball Classic history, and then Ozzy Albies hit one like 4 hours before this, and then he hits one right then. So 2 in one day. And then wasn't there one after that?
There was like this doesn't count, but a run rule
Okay,
walk-off.
Doesn't count. So Puerto Rico, I mean, that was the most lit game of their bracket. It was freaking lit if you watch it at home in Puerto Rico with the people going at it. Like, if you want to see a country that really cares about WBC, Puerto Rico is up there. They actually have the best ERA in the tournament so far. But if you look at who pitches for them, not the best guys ever. Edwin Diaz makes his return. He came back to the trumpets. That was a fire clip. Seth Lugo and Jorge Lopez. But 2 of their 4 starters didn't even pitch in MLB last year. One of them is Seth Lugo, and the other one pitched 1 game. So 3 of their 4 starters aren't even MLB starters. They have the lowest ERA in the tournament. Martin Maldonado is their catcher. He's retired. So that's another guy who doesn't play baseball anymore, playing baseball in this tournament. That's, I guess, worked out enough for them. They go 3-1, and they fucking move on. They move on to the next round. Other team in the pool that moved on? Canada. Who do you think is better, Puerto Rico or Canada? Gun to head.
Canada.
Wrong. I got it wrong.
I thought it was subjective.
No, gun to head, and you got it wrong. Panama, I mean, I would say Puerto Rico, but it's debatable. You're right, it is subjective. Sorry. James Paxton's on Canada. That's another old guy who doesn't play, who's playing now. And now he's throwing 97, Mitch?
He didn't play last year. I think he's technically retired. He's one of 2 retired Canadian pitchers who just are like, yeah, I'll suit up for Canada.
No, they saw the hockey game and they said, we got to do something about this.
And yeah, he was throwing 97.
Maybe he makes a comeback after this. They see that. Canada goes 3-1 and they win, which is interesting part is that their best hitters on paper aren't even doing well. Tyler O'Neill, Bo Naylor, and Josh Naylor, all OPS under 700. Their cousin, Denzel Clark, I don't have his stats, but I forgot about that. Bo Naylor, Josh Naylor, and Denzel Clark, all Canadians, all related, all on the same team. So this kind of is the maybe the closest knit team because they got 3 relatives on there. I don't know. That scares me going into Team USA. I mean, they got 3 relatives, 2 brothers and a cousin. They beat Puerto Rico. So they actually did beat Puerto Rico head-to-head. Maybe I shouldn't have shot you in the face. They also beat Cuba. They lost to Panama, though. That was an L. Canada thought they were about, because this was the best. Canada's never been out of pool play, right?
This was the first time.
First time out of pool play. So when they lost that game to Panama, Canada beats Panama. Panama beats Canada. You're thinking, oh gosh, these Canadians, they keep shooting themselves in the foot. But they prevailed. They beat Puerto Rico and Cuba, 2 other best teams in the pool, back to back, and they move on. Abraham Toro, Owen Cass, both had negative WARs last season. Both drove in 5 runs each. So those are the guys right there, Toro and Owen Cass. That's who USA has to watch out against. You know, a team with Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Garrett Gunnar Anderson, Paul Skeens, 612 WAR. You think we can beat a team made out of Abraham Toro and Owen Cass?
So Owen Casey is a top prospect.
Casey? Am I spelling it wrong? Sorry, Casey.
In the Cubs organization, he did get called up to the majors last year, but he played like 12 games, and he's only 23.
Okay, so I still think USA will win. Who we got? It's going to be Logan Webb, right?
Should be Logan Webb and Michael Soroka. They haven't officially announced it, but these were their 2 pitchers in game 1.
Soroka, dude.
The thing that's hard for me to figure out is that the pool play in Puerto Rico, nobody scored there. Like all of the teams who were playing there, all of their ERAs are like 2 dot. And in the US, everybody was scoring. So like in Houston and Miami, it was just a bloodbath. So I don't know if it was the stadium.
I think it was the humidity, high humidity, a lot of rain. Balls were not flying.
Isn't it the opposite? If the humidity is high, the ball flies farther.
No. Colorado, thin air. Right? Isn't humidity thick air? So if it's thin air, no humidity.
But then like Atlanta, balls fly out of there.
Because it's hot.
And humid.
No.
Don't you have like 3 videos on baseballs?
Yeah, dude. Well, they put the balls in humidifiers to make them not go as far. Stomp the research guy, dude.
We need to get a science guy.
You know, because I do debate this in my head all the time. Because they'll be like, it's a hot night, so the ball's going to be flying. But if it's humid, the ball doesn't fly. If you put the ball in the humidifier, it doesn't go as far.
I think high humidity increases ball flight.
I've heard them say that too, dude. That's why I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I've heard it all. But why are they putting balls in humidifiers to make them not go as far, if that's the case? I don't think we know the answer to that.
I guess it's just about regulation, because if you can't really dehumidify the balls. I guess you can, though. I don't know.
You could dehumidify a ball. It's about regulation, yes. We don't need to get into the humidifiers too deep right now. It could be interesting. Maybe next episode we'll do a whole ep on humidifying shit. But so yeah, USA versus Canada, Puerto Rico versus Italy. This sets up a potential game, USA versus Dominican. That'd be on March 15th, which is the game I'm rooting for more than anything. USA versus Dominican would be a battle of not only probably the 2 strongest teams on paper, I guess, in terms of MLB talent, for sure. That would be on Friday, right? Friday at 8. If USA wins against Canada and Dominican Republic can beat Korea. But before that, Italy versus Puerto Rico. Italy has 1 Italian player, right? 1 actual Italian.
They actually have 3.
3 actual Italians, but 1 actual talent who plays in MLB, Sam Elighieri. Looks like he might pitch. Italy's plus 105 in this game against Puerto Rico. So that's basically an even matchup right now, which is funny because it's like any year before this, Italy would be massive underdogs against Puerto Rico, but not this year. Not this year. Okay. So the winner of that game will play the winner of Japan versus Venezuela. And that would be Pool D. Pool D. What was your favorite pool of the tournament? Pool D?
I don't know which pools were
That's
which,
Korea's
to be
pool.
honest.
Korea, Taiwan.
They were Pool D?
Pool D. Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Czechia.
I will say that pool did cause me the most anxiety watching.
Yeah, the Pool D was the craziest pool, obviously, because you had to stay up till midnight to watch the first game and then wake up at 5 a.m. to watch the second game. So that's probably why you're so anxious. But yeah, that pool fucked my sleep schedule up. Thanks a lot, time zones. Anyway, so this was actually the craziest pool. I mean, America's pool was pretty crazy because it went down to a tiebreaker. This one also went down to a tiebreaker. My favorite team of the tournament, Taiwan, bro. Taiwan. A man crashed his car because of this in Taiwan. They thought they caught a spy into Taiwan, giving other teams information before their game. So going to this tournament, Taiwan had the most hype than they've ever had inside the country. This is a major deal because of the Premier 12 tournament is the biggest thing. Premier 12 tournament, we talked about it a little bit last time. No one here knows what the fuck it is. To us, it is basically less important than the League World Series. It's basically like winning the state championship. In Asia, it's actually a big deal. It's the 12 best baseball countries go to one tournament, but no MLB players allowed. So the Latin countries and America are pretty nerfed in this thing. It's a lot of prospects. But the Asian countries have MPB players, KBO players, CPBL players from Taiwan. So for them, it's a massive deal. So 3.5 million viewers for the live telecast in Taiwan for this. So yeah, pretty big deal. I mean, I don't know how many people are in Taiwan, but that's a big chunk of the country right there. Taiwan beats the USA in this tournament. First time they beat USA in 21 years. Then they beat Japan. That's what they call the biggest international upset in history, is when they beat Japan. Because Japan, in this game, 7 of the 28 players were on the WBC roster. So these aren't scrubs. These are the best they got, for the most part. Taiwan had never won an international baseball championship, and they win this one. And if you don't believe this is a big deal, let me show you these little tidbits of information. The top 20 searches on Google in Taiwan were all about the baseball game. The Taichung city government hosted a live broadcast of the match at a sports mecca in the plaza. 30,000 people went to watch this in the town square. They were giving out limited edition chicken cutlets, dude. 300 limited edition chicken cutlets to the fans. 2,000 servings of Taiwanese tea and sun cakes were distributed during the event. They sold 100,000 t-shirts, championship t-shirts, in 2 days after this. So, I mean, this is like Super Bowl shit. Some companies announced days off for their employees the day after this tournament so they could all celebrate. The president of the country honored the team by dispatching 4 fighter jets to escort the team back to Taiwan and were greeted by the vice president at the airport. Then they held a parade for the team. 4 fighter jets.
Can we go back to the chicken cutlets? What is a limited edition?
Yeah, thank you. I was
cutlet?
wondering the same thing.
Well, there's only 300 of them, bro. They're limited.
But limited edition? It sounds like
Yeah, championship cutlets. These
Was
chickens are for the championship.
were they fried differently?
Brother, there's only 300 of them.
I have a little picture of this from the article that you linked, and they just look like big chicken cutlets.
They're big. Usually, they're not that big. They're limited edition. But
Do you think anybody took one home and saved one, like the Philadelphia hot dogs?
Yeah, the $1 Dog Night hot dog. I mean,
I
they
just
sold
think it's a
100,000
clever-
t-shirts in 2 days. I bet someone would spend a lot of money on that limited edition chicken cutlet.
I just think I like the idea if you don't bring enough food to something, to be like, sorry, it's limited edition. It wasn't just poor prep.
They had 300,000 fans and only 300 chicken cutlets, bro.
Was
They
there
were
a
limited.
lottery for it?
I don't know.
First in line kind of thing? You think people were camping out for the limited edition chicken cutlet?
I mean, it is true. I mean, there's 30,000 fans there, only 300 chicken cutlets. So they were limited, very limited. So, what my point is, though, Premier 12 blew the Taiwan out of the water. So baseball is hot in Taiwan. Taiwan, that is their national sport. I mean, everyone knows them from Little League. They cheat hard as fuck in Little League. That's why they have the most championships. But they care a lot, and their Little League team has been doing good lately, so I think that's another big deal. That was a big deal in Taiwan. I remember, I did a whole video about Taiwanese Little League. This shit, in their heyday, like the 80s, 70s, 80s, it was like they were doing Japan WBC numbers for these games. It's like they had to shut the water supply off because everyone in the country is like watching this Little League game. It is the national sport in Taiwan. But baseball in Taiwan has kind of been down over the past 2 decades. They had a massive cheating scandal, match-fixing scandal in their professional league, which kind of, tarnished the league, and they lost a lot of viewership. But attendance has been going crazy. So attendance peaked in Taiwan in 1995, 1.6 million. In 2012, it was 583,000. So they basically went from 1.6 million to 500K. Cut it in third. They lost 2/3 of their audience after these cheating scandals. There was like 3 in a row, I think. It was bad. But now the trend has switched. So in Taiwanese baseball, 6,000 fans per game in 2023. In 2024, that went up to 7.6 thousand, so a massive increase in 1 year. And then this year, in 2025, 10,000 fans per game, a 35% increase in 1 year. Ticket sales revenue increased 3.5 times in 2 years. 350% in 2 years. So all this success, Taiwan's looking like a beast. Japan's manager comes out and says that Taiwan's the biggest rival in the tournament. Korea's manager comes out and says that Taiwan was the team to beat. Everyone's looking at Taiwan like these are the guys. Taiwan, not funny enough, but like interesting enough, more players in the top 30 prospect than any other team in the Classic. You could say that's good or bad. Now, there's a lot of like guys who are just like prospects and not there yet, but pretty interesting. 2 of them got hurt right before the tournament, though. And then in the first game, their best player, Che Hsien Chen. Can you help me on that one? How do you say that?
Jack?
I can't see it. I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, Chen. Best player, basically, he hit the home run to win the Premier 12, fractures his finger, so he gets hit by Australia. This Australian pitcher had to deactivate his Instagram because these Taiwanese people were being so fucking mean to him. So the guy who got hit, Chen, he had to go on Twitter and say, like, Lo, you got to stop giving this guy death threats. Stop bullying this pitcher. It was an accident. It's part of the game. They end up losing to Australia. So they got all this hype going into it. They lose to Australia in the first game. And then there's this weird fucking controversy going on where this guy during the game claims on social media that he was the strength and conditioning coach of Taiwan in 2013 and 17. And he had joined Australia's, quote, intelligence gathering team, successfully helping them beat Taiwan. So this guy goes on the internet and says, Lo, I sold all that information to Australia. I told you guys were going to lose. Then he posts this article where I guess the Australian team's coach made some comment about having like done a lot of detailed investigation. So he's like, I told you, look, he even admitted it. He got the information from me. So then everyone in Taiwan became convinced that this guy was like legit and he's selling the team their information. The Ministry of Sports, the Chinese Professional Baseball League, and the National Taxation Bureau starts an investigation on this guy. In the middle of the tournament, people online find pictures of him with a politician. And in this picture, this politician in Taiwan basically called him his Australian assistant. And that politician now is just like, bombarded with like, he's scandalous. Why are you friends with the thief, bro? That guy has to come out and say, listen, I don't know this guy. He was just a friend of a friend. And then the investigation happens. They find out the guy was making up the whole thing. The guy was attacked. He deleted his post. He closed his account and apologized. He said it was just a joke. Pretty funny joke, man, because it really pissed a lot of people off in Taiwan, apparently. And so I guess Australia won fair and square.
I love the idea that Australia would care this much about the WBC that they'd hire a Taiwanese spy.
Yeah, right. They need a Taiwanese spy. I mean, what information are you getting? Okay, so they lose to Australia. So Australia, a very underrated team, by the way. We will get to Australia, but still, the fan atmosphere in Tokyo was insane. I mean, last World Baseball Classic, when they played in Taiwan, that was insane, but that was at home. Now they're in Tokyo, but 40,000 fans per game at their matches, which is the most ever for non-host teams. Sorry. So the first time in history that the World Baseball Classic in Tokyo averaged 400K fans per match in games Japan wasn't in, which really a lot had to do with Taiwanese fans who showed up like crazy. They were giving out 4,000 flags distributed at the venue to anyone who said go Taiwan. That's another thing, is like Taiwan is like mad fucking organized, I guess. Apparently they had 40 buses of fans going to these games. Like they organize it well, everyone gets the same flag, they do songs the entire game, you got fight songs, it's just really regimented. They seem like a very regimented people. I know one Taiwanese guy, Vinny Liu. You call him Taipei, Chinese Taipei, or Taiwan?
What's the question?
Do you call him Chinese Taipei or Taiwan?
Am I calling Chinese Taipei or Taiwan?
Do you call them Chinese Taipei or Taiwan?
What am I not understanding about this question?
Which one? What do you call them, Taiwan or Chinese Taipei?
I guess I call it Taiwan. I never even heard of Taipei until Alex Honnold climbed that building the other day.
Okay. Hope they don't get mad at him for that. I don't know. You pick your poison, bro.
I thought Taipei was a city.
It is.
I'm confused.
So Jack, Taiwan is not allowed to compete internationally as Taiwan
Why?
because they are technically a part of China, and
No, they're
China
not.
will not let China or Taiwan.
Dude, that's not even,
Okay.
dude, they're not part of China.
It's like the one Chinese policy that basically anyone,
Then
like,
why do they call them Chinese Taipei?
because that's allowed apparently.
Well, I think it's the Taiwanese, I think it's the government of Taiwan being like, we're Chinese Taipei, we're not Taiwan.
They're not allowed to compete as Taiwan.
I know, but the players do. I think I think it's the Taiwanese government saying that.
This reminds
The
me of
Taiwanese government wants to be China. Yeah, Google it. We're gonna figure this out.
No. So
It's hundreds of years of political turmoil. We'll figure that, and we'll just grok that.
we will solve this right now. There are IOC restrictions on Taiwan using Taiwan.
Yeah. Oh, they can't use Taiwan.
No, they can't.
The governing bodies doesn't let them use Taiwan.
So they had to create this whole little other entity.
Because I just remember from the I guess things that might have changed. You know, call me ignorant, but when the Little League World Series videos and the Little League World Series teams of the 80s, the reason why it was such a big deal for them is because the government, who came from China.
Well, the Taiwanese government does think that they
Well, they're-
are the legitimate
Yeah,
China.
they're Chinese because they're Chinese. They come from China. You know, they lost the
They
communists.
still use the traditional script. They're not like mainland. who uses
Exactly.
Simplified.
But that's why they say Chinese Taipei on their jerseys, because the government wants them to not be Taiwan. I don't think that the Olympics and the World Baseball Classic would have a problem if the government was like, yeah, just call yourselves Taiwan. I think most people do call them Taiwan. It's just, I think most of the country, I believe, wants to be Taiwan. So, yeah. I call them Taiwan. But I also call them really good at baseball. Because after they lose to Australia, what happens after that?
They get blown out by Japan.
They go to Japan, but they fought hard. They didn't even, they got one hit against Japan. But it's respectable because listen to this. Last World Baseball Classic, Australia versus Korea, opening game, 15,000 fans were there. This year, 40,000 fans with Taiwan in it, okay? They also have a whole band, 8 trumpeters, 4 trombone players, 2 saxophonists at each game. When they played Japan, this blew my mind. 40% of the crowd in Japan, against Japan, were Taiwanese fans. If you watch the game on TV, you'd think it was in Taiwan. They were going crazy. The band was playing. The guy hit a foul ball. My man, why am I blanking on the
Stuart Fairchild.
child hit a foul ball? They're down like 10-0, and they cut to the fans, and they're just like, no! They're like so mad, like fanatical baseball fans. A 59-year-old driver named in Taiwan, he was on his way to buy a TV remote to buy the World Baseball Classic game.
You're not
And
going to say his
fucking-
name?
How do you say it?
It's just Shu.
Okay, Shu, sorry. Well, it starts with an H, so I wouldn't say, starts with an H. If you said that how it's spelled in English, you would say Husu, but it's shoe. Now I know. I'm learning my shit. This guy basically hit a guy with his motorcycle. I don't know how relevant this is to Wiggle Classic, but I saw this, it cracked me up, dude. This guy nails someone with his car and a motorcycle, and then it goes viral in Taiwan, or it's on the news and stuff, because he was going to the store to get a remote to watch the World Baseball Classic. The guy didn't have a license.
Wait, what?
He was a taxi driver.
And he was going to buy a remote.
He was going to go to the store to buy a remote, and it doesn't kill him, but he hits a guy, hits a guy with his car, and he was a motorcycle guy. He has over 100 tickets, no tickets. He's a full-time driver. But that's what I'm saying. That's how serious this tournament is over there. People are killing people to get remotes and shit.
I woke up one of these mornings to start work, and that was like one of the first things. Joey was like, "Can you find this video?" And I was like, "What is it going to be?" And it's just this car crash.
Yeah, he hit a guy trying to find a remote. They lose to Japan, which sucks, because that's why they beat him in the Premier 12. But when Shohei hits a leadoff grand slam, that was against them, right? This was the game where Shohei had a cycle in the third inning almost. The second inning,
and
he
then
was
they
a triple.
pinch hit for him before he could hit the triple.
He hit a grand slam. It got 400,000 retweets in 30 minutes. Somehow that was weird. That was crazy. So they lose their first two games, and then they lose. Then they beat Czech. Which, that's another thing that's, upsetting me, is that Czech Republic was Czech Republic last time, and now they're Czechia.
They've always been Czechia.
So is this like a Taiwan situation where
No, it's like...
Am I fucked up if I say Czech Republic?
It's like Turkey changing their name officially. They've been Czechia for a while now, I think.
So if I dead name them with the Republic, I ain't stepping on anyone's toes. So they're not a republic anymore? They don't do democracy?
Is this like a Turkey situation? Because isn't Turkey now like Turkey or something?
I haven't been keeping up with Turkey too closely.
No?
I know the guy who shoots the gun in the Olympics from Turkey. Turkey. I've never been. Istanbul.
We all got good hair here. No reason to go.
That's what I'm saying.
No reason.
Do it look like I need turkey?
I might go get a soul patch.
Okay, so Taiwan loses first two games. Then they beat Czech Republic, and then they have to go against Mitchell's team, Mitchell's team, Mitchell.
It's funny that they're able to go just by Korea, and there's not like some big controversy about South Korea versus North Korea.
Who's the real Korea?
Yeah, I mean...
You could make an argument for both. No? Okay, anyway, so Korea has a very also awesome storyline with this, because they're kind of also like Taiwan in some ways, where, well, the opposite of Taiwan, where Taiwan is coming up on a high, like our baseball's up and up. Korea's on a freaking just downturn of losing, and it's a complete embarrassment. 2006, they go 6-0 in pool play. They lose in the semifinal to Japan, but we're the best team in the tournament. 2009, run that ended up with a runner finishing multiple high stakes. What? Okay, whatever. 2009, same thing. They beat Japan again. I think they got second in the tournament. So the first two tournaments, they dominated, and Korea was looking like they could compete with anyone. Then in 2013, they go 2-1, don't make it a pool play. 2017, they lose to Israel, get shut out by the Netherlands, beat Taiwan in extras, but they go 1-2 and don't advance. So that's 2 in a row where they get eliminated. Their manager of the team just quits that year. He says, I'm going to blame this on myself, and just retires because it's such an embarrassment. And then in 2023, we already went over this earlier, but that was the biggest embarrassment. That was a third tournament in a row they don't get past. Then you get the controversy going on with the guys drinking. 3 guys drinking after the game. And KBO does an investigation. They get these players, find them, whatever. So the KBO, after that tournament, forms a task force, because Korean baseball has been such a disappointment and embarrassment for something they care so deeply about. And this task force is just created to make them a powerhouse again. They basically have a full-time manager now, a full-time coach now. Like all these other teams, they just like hire a guy to come in for like a month. Korea's like, if you're the coach of Korea, you're full-time 365 days a year. They've been doing freaking trainings in February and in fall. They've been doing all these exhibition games. Like they're trying to get like a national team that is like kind of staying together and shit, like a real, like a team. That's the difference between, and Japan does that too, and probably Taiwan as well. Where like USA, it's just like 1 month before, all right guys. But Korea and Japan, like this is like a real team. Like I was talking to my man Yaku, and I was just looking up some of the MPB stats, and a lot of these guys on the Japan team, if you look at their stats, like there's other Japanese players who like clearly are better than them over the past 3 seasons. But it's like, he's like, well, this guy's been on the team for 2 World Baseball Classics. Like he's on the team. You're not gonna lose your spot, you know, where it's more of a team, you know what I'm saying? Rather than just like only worrying about who was good last year, you know. And that's what Korea is doing right now. It's trying to build up a team. Korea does beat Czech Republic to start the tournament, then lose to Japan, but almost beat Japan. I mean, they haven't beat Japan in 13 years, 13 in a row. They're like 0-13 against Japan or something. I want to say, do you know what?
I think they've lost like 13 straight games.
Yes.
But that would only date back to a few years. But then they had a tie in one of their exhibition games.
Okay.
So they're moving up in the world.
Okay. So they lose to Japan, but they actually put up a pretty good fight against Japan. They were winning at first, but then they blew it. And you know, they were not happy in Korea about that, but what are you going to do? So they're 1-1 now. They got to play Taiwan. More attendance facts. 2009 World Baseball Classic, Taiwan versus Korea in the Tokyo Dome. So same game, same arena, 12,000 people were there. This year, 40,000 people, bro. Big increase. This was probably the craziest game of the tournament, would you say? Did you follow this one? It happened at 1 a.m., but 6 lead changes. In the first game, so that guy Chen, who broke his finger in the first game, fractured his finger, comes in as a pinch runner in the top of the 10th and scores the game-winning run against Team Korea. So with the broken finger, doesn't care whatever his home country team has to say. Imagine an American do that. Imagine Bryce Harper breaks his arm, breaks his finger, and he's like, you know what? I can still run though.
Bobby Witt going, yeah, put me in Mark Dero. I got this pinch runner.
I can still run, coach. I mean, the Kansas City Royals would lose their shit, bro. They'd sue. So Taiwan upsets Korea, and this is the tournament for them, man. I mean, they had reporters crying after the game. After the game, Taiwan secured their first win against South Korea in the Classic history. So they've never done this. And now, so after they started going 0-2, now they're 2-2. This sets the same situation as USA was in, where now Taiwan might advance, right? And it comes down to Korea versus Australia, because Japan's over here just like in the corner being like, motherfucker, we're better than all you guys. They're just taking everybody. It comes down to Korea and Australia. Australia, probably the most underrated team in this tournament, I would say. And that's the cool thing about Australia. All these European teams and all these like Brazil, all these teams where there's a bunch of guys in a country you're not really known for baseball, but the guys on the team aren't really baseball guys. Australia is like one of 3 teams, or one of 2 teams, who doesn't have one player from the US. They don't have one player from the US. And that has to not be true. But I think that's true. They don't have one player from the US. So Australia has like, Australia has
I mean, they're all Australian born except for one dude who was born in South Africa.
Yeah. So like, that's impressive. They're just
I feel like the Australian American is a more unique experience than maybe say an Italian American or a Mexican American.
Yeah, moving from Australia to
or
here.
Korean American or basically any of the other.
Yeah, finding isn't Australia part of Great Britain in some way? Is that not at one point?
I mean, they were at one point in the same sense that like Canada was, but I don't think Canadians.
Canada still is, actually. I think they got the Queen on the money.
I think it's the
Cuck
king
shit.
now.
Cuck shit. Anyway, they got Travis Bazzana. You know Travis Bazzana, he was the #1 overall draft pick from Australia, which is insane because they're not known for baseball. He played in the Australian Baseball League, their pro league, at 15 years old. 15 this guy was playing. He homers in game 1. He looks like a beast. What is he, 21?
I mean, he's done with college, isn't he? Like
22?
22, 23?
Their other major leaguer, Curtis Mead, he homers in game 2. They also have a catcher to refuse handshakes. That's badass. I respect that. Won't shake the check batter's hand. It's
He
pretty
had
cool.
the first runs of the tournament.
He what?
He had the first runs of the tournament. Hit a home run, you hear him go, "Let's fucking go," over the TV.
So this guy doesn't shake his hand. It's just a competitive thing, nothing personal. If he sees a check team at the hotel, he'll check in. There's absolutely no malice. It's respect. So baseball in Australia is up 22% in 1 year. So baseball is growing in Australia, and they do not get the respect they deserve because they were 1 run away from beating Japan, bro. They put up the best fight against Japan in the tournament so far. They were beating them 1-0 for most of it. Ended up giving some runs. I think Murakami hit the clutch. Oh, it was Yoshida. Yoshida showed up, and this was a big because the Emperor was there. This is the first time the Emperor went to see a Japanese game in person in like fucking 60 years.
That's crazy to me.
The Emperor's
In
busy.
60 years, he never was like, "Oh, I should go see Sadoharu O play."
Well, dude, he's got Emperor shit to do. I don't know. Do they do stuff?
I have no clue.
You know what I'm saying? We don't, because I feel like, yeah, they're like the president's got to like do paperwork, but the Emperor's kind of just doing, you know,
He's just a figurehead.
he's showing face,
So you're not gonna show face the Tokyo Dome, and
right?
there have been so many big baseball games that have happened in Japan, whether they involve like international baseball or not. And he was never like, let me go see the guy who broke the home run record. 800 homers, never gonna once.
He's
see
not
him
as
play.
sick as Shohei, boss. Shohei's a different level. That's what I'm saying. You know, Sadadura O. Oh, maybe because he wasn't really Japanese. That's why.
You think he protested because O is half Taiwanese? He was like, yeah, no, can't let that happen.
Hey, from what I've heard over there in Japan, they kind of rock that way sometimes. Maybe he was rocking that way. I don't know much about their emperor. I'll check in with him after this. So then it comes down to Korea and Australia. Another epic game. Well, Australia only has to. They don't have to win. They just have to lose by less than 5 runs. And what do?
Well, first, this run matrix for the game is kind of insane. So Taiwan had the smallest margin of error to make it in the red here. Korea had the second. Australia, man, they just needed to not allow 8 runs and lose by less than 5 runs.
Just lose by less than 5, Australia. But you know why? They couldn't. Moon Bae-kyung. Is that right? Moon Bae-kyung. He hit 2 home runs against Australia. No, sorry, hits a 2-run home run in the second, RBI double in the third, RBI single in the 5th. This guy's the best hitter in the tournament so far, Mr. Moon. 11 RBIs out of Korea. They also got Shea Whitcomb over there in Korea. Korea's underrated as well, bro. They got freaking Hae-Sung Kim batting 7th for him. It's pretty impressive. That's an MLB player over there, batting 7th. But then they accuse Moon. The Taiwanese get pissed at Moon. So this is what happens. So Korea is like battling. They have to win by more than 5 runs. They ended up getting over 5 runs in the 8th. So it's 7-2 in the 8th inning. And then Moon is up with a chance to hit another run in and strikes out on 3 pitches. So, but Taiwan, a lot of their fans were under the impression that if they scored another run, that Taiwan would get in. So like Moon struck out on purpose so that they wouldn't score too many runs, which doesn't make any fucking sense because I don't think you can like outscore your way out of a position.
No, you could. So what happens is because the runs that Australia allows is also part of the tiebreaker. If Korea had scored 9 runs off of Australia, their runs allowed now surpasses Taiwan's.
Australia's?
And so that would be factored in.
Australia's would go over Taiwan.
And so Korea would lose the tiebreaker because they lost to Taiwan. I think it was head-to-head matchup first, and then runs allowed per out.
Okay, so according to Mitchell, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think you might be wrong.
I mean, I have the run quotient thing you pulled up here.
But if they win 8-2, they still
8-2
advance.
is fine.
Okay, but 9-2 and
But 9-2 would not be.
that's hilarious. So Moon probably did strike out on purpose. So it's like, that's the annoying thing about this tournament sometimes. It's like literally Korea, if they won by too many runs, would fuck themselves over. They had to win by more than 5, but less than fucking 7.
No, Australia needed 3+ too.
Yeah, if they gave up another run, they're out.
So I think what was happening, Taiwanese fans are probably right, but like if you're Korea, you're
so
going to be
Taiwanese
out
fans.
anyway. But if you allow the other run in, it's probably a factor.
So Mitchell says Taiwanese fans are right. Here's what some of them wrote on Twitter to Mr. Moon. Koreans are useless. Korea is a terrible country. You'll be eliminated soon in the quarterfinals. I hope your plane crashes to Miami. And that's the shit you co-sign?
I was just saying that they were right about the conspiracy, probably.
Unbelievable. So Korea gets out, man. First time in 17 years, Korea moves on. After the game, their announcer cried.
That game was absurd.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Cries in there. Their manager cried after the game.
Everybody cried after the game.
I don't blame them. Did you cry?
No, I don't feel that much affinity towards Korea. But it was a stressful game to watch because in the 8th inning, Australia gets a runner on. They sack bunt. The runner on first trips. But Korea's pitcher doesn't even look at second. If he looks at second, they could maybe even turn a double play. He doesn't. He throws it straight to first. The runner moves to second. And Travis Bazana hits a single, which will put the deficit to 4, meaning that Australia would advance if that score held. But then in the next inning, Australia has a defensive miscue, and then Korea ends up scoring that extra run to put them back at 5. And then they held that.
Sloppy ball, man.
Sloppy ball?
Sloppy ball. When the pressure's on, the lights are bright, shit happens. And then the last team that we haven't talked about yet in that pool, Czech Republic, my favorite team, Czechia. 0-4, not great. They faced Japan again. That was because this is also one of the most underrated things, not underrated things, but one of the best things with the World Baseball Classic. There's just matchups that don't fucking make sense. There's just people playing. It's the best players in the world, best athletes in the world against school teachers sometimes, and it's just they have to play each other. Brazil's a great example of this. USA was favored minus 6,000 against Brazil. Brazil got one hit against Great Britain. They got one hit by Great Britain. I mean, Great Britain sucks ass. You got one hit by Great Britain. They got outscored 47-6. They have a 24-year-old construction worker on their team. Needed to get permission from his boss to enter the tournament. Got permission. His first at bat was against two-time All-Star Logan Webb. So it was a construction worker versus a guy who got fourth in Cy Young voting last year. Got permission to go 0-11. 0 for 11. I'm just shitting on this guy. Damn, dude, go back to work, dude. No wonder you don't get paid. 0 for 11? Terrible. Just kidding. I respect it. Put it on for your country. It is so funny to get like PTO. Just go face Logan Webb, come back. Like, all right, I'm back. Brazil also has a 17-year-old on the team. Joseph Contreras, son of former big leaguer Jose Contreras. His dad is Cuban. He himself is from Georgia, but because of his mom, he qualifies for Team Brazil. Born in 2008, he's a senior in high school. He's ranked the 34th best prospect in the MLB draft for 2026. So this is a good prospect. This guy can fucking shove it. He gives up a double, then has to face Bobby Witt Jr. So a 17-year-old against the best lineup of all time, according to some. Bryce Harper, then Aaron Judge. So he walks Bobby Witt and Bryce Harper, has to face Aaron Judge with the bases loaded, gets Aaron Judge to roll into a double play.
Shredded his bat.
Shredded him.
If I was 17 and I shredded Aaron Judge's bat, I don't even care if I allowed like 5 runs after that.
And he didn't.
He didn't.
He gave up 1 run after that, but that's all right. I mean, yeah, to walk the bases loaded, then have to face Bobby Witt, Bryce Harper, and Aaron Judge and give up 0 runs.
He's doing social studies homework before the game.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah, he said, quote, they're down there, always down there partying. I'm like, yeah, I really can't go down there with you guys. So he exposes the team for partying. Not only does Brazil suck, they're drinking the whole time. Don't even care to play. Step it up, Brazil. You're going to have to qualify for next tournament. 0-4. 1 hit by Great Britain. That is bad, bro. That is bad. Another high school student on Czech. This guy is also funny because he's also a high school student, but he does not have the prospect pedigree. This guy, he goes 0 for 7 with a walk, had to do homework, trigonometry at the World Baseball Classic. He's committed to Yale. So this is a smart cookie right here. Plays for Czech. He gets walked though. He gets on base, but 0 for 7. And that's the best thing about Czech. It's just a bunch of guys. I mean, Czech's team is a bunch of guys who go to college in America who are like battling for like Division II spots. If you look at them, they're like trying to make their college team, and then they're facing Shohei Ohtani. But then the guys from Czech, a lot of them, like okay, Martin Muzik, he's on Czech Republic. He's a groundskeeper. That's his job. So he just like fixes the field and plays for the team. Like
they have another guy who's like, he's a player on the team, but his job is also for marketing.
Yeah.
So he's working marketing 9 to 5 or whatever, and then going down to the field. Do you ever think he posts himself a little too much on Instagram? You think he gives himself a little extra coverage?
Probably. I would do it. They got an outfielder who's a grocery delivery driver. Their manager's a neurologist. Their pitcher, they have a pitcher, he's a firefighter. So this guy has to miss every third game during their regular season because he has to firefight. So that's in his contract, whatever the contracts are in Czech, like, sorry, every third game I'm out. I got to fight fires. Some things are bigger than baseball. And that is fighting fires. And then the best one, Andrej Satoria, full-time electrician whose fastball is 79 miles per hour. So Andrej Satoria became a legend in 2003 in Japan. He's from Czech Republic. That, like I said, does not have a pro league. He goes against Japan 3 years ago. Best team in the world. Strikes out Lars Nootbaar, strikes out Kensuke Kondo, strikes out Mukataka Murakami, and strikes out Shohei Ohtani. So 4 Ks. 3 of those guys are in MLB. The other guy is an MPB All-Star. Becomes famous in Japan for this. Obviously, these games are watched by billions of people. Goes back to Czech Republic. No one knows who the fuck he is or cares. Doesn't even know what baseball is. Never heard of Shohei Ohtani. Comes back to Japan 3 years later. Now he's pitching against Japan again for Czech. And all of a sudden, most famous guy in the world again. So he pitched the first game, in his first game of the tournament, pitches in relief, goes 3 2/3 scoreless innings with 3 Ks. So he comes in with a runner on second, gets out of a jam, then pitches 3 more innings and shuts him out. Average pitch speed in this game, his first game, 72 miles per hour. His fastball, 78 miles per hour. 50% whiff rate on his changeup. This shit is nasty, dude. I'm actually kind of convinced this guy is actually good.
I think that changeup is pretty nasty.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. He was the best pitcher of the tournament. He is a electrician from Czech Republic, and if you look at the stats, no one outpitched him in this tournament. And it wasn't like he was going against Great Britain and Brazil. He's facing the best team in the world, defending champions, and he throws the most innings out of anyone in the tournament and gives up 0 runs. He's got a .96 whip or something. You know, and he can't even hit 80, bro. So that was the first game. 6 whiffs on pitches slower than 72 miles per hour. Insane. This is his last season, by the way. So he announces this is retirement, meaning that this game against Japan, their last game of the tournament, they're going against Japan. This is going to be his last game. He's starting against Japan. He throws 42 changeups. 63% of his pitches were changeups. They average 70.9 miles per hour. Okay? Shuts them out, doesn't allow 1 run, strikes out 3 in 4 2/3 inning. He gets taken out, gets a standing ovation in Japan after shutting Japan down for 4 2/3. Just embarrassing them. Ends the tournament with 8 1/3 innings pitched, the most innings pitched in the tournament. Half of those were against the defending champions. He pitches more innings than everyone in the tournament, has a .96 whip, and gives up 0 runs. Afterwards, he gets a standing ovation from Japanese fans in Japan. This guy, I mean, is touched by God. How the fuck doesn't even hit 80? What was his average speed the second game?
Because he threw a fastball.
He threw 60% fucking changeups. I mean, 79 ain't very fast, no matter how you slice it. Could you even call it a fastball? So even with the best pitcher in the tournament, Czech Republic cannot win a game, though. So they're going to have to requalify.
They requalified this past time, didn't they?
No, they beat China.
Oh, they beat China.
Yeah. So they're going to have to work hard. It's only going to make them better, though. But can they win without Satoria? Shout out to Satoria, man. I love that man.
All right, so his average velo in game 2 was actually just 1.1 mile an hour slower than game 1. 72.4.
You got to keep them off balance. So Japan rolls through this bracket 4-0. Closest game was against Australia. Shohei Ohtani, again, goes off. This home run that he hit against Taiwan had 84,000 likes and 2.7 million views in 33 minutes. Can you click it now? Can you check what it's at now? Because I was checking it that morning. In 1 hour, it had 111,000 likes. His grand slam. The guy hit a grand slam, hits a leadoff double, then hits a grand slam the next inning, then hits a single, and in the second inning was a trip away from the cycle.
28.8 million views.
28.8 million views. Jack, even you probably saw that.
I don't think so,
The
actually.
Shohei Ohtani Grand Salami. Sayonara.
I might have. I might not have recognized where I was seeing it from. I get a lot of baseball content. I get more baseball content the more episodes we're doing.
They're listening to me.
Are
Okay.
you rocking a Washington Senators hat?
I am, yeah.
Oh, is that your favorite team? Who's your favorite
That
player?
doesn't really work like
Name
that.
3 players
On
on the
the-
Washington Senators.
On the Senators, couldn't name one.
Okay. Is that a real team anymore?
No. Right?
Why are you looking at me?
I don't know. Washington Senators, like that was the old team in DC, right?
Yeah, well, they were two different teams.
That's what I'm thinking. So is there an active Senators?
Well, one is the Rangers and one is the Twins.
Okay. But is there like a minor league team called the
No.
Senators? All right. Don't get
There's
mad
like
at
a
me, dude.
vintage hat.
What'd you say?
It's a vintage hat.
Oh, I got vintage jacket.
Would you think, was that Olympics worn?
Oh yeah, brother.
Hell
It's
yeah.
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan dream
Wow, it
team.
fits pretty well.
Yeah. Big guy, a couple big guys, a couple champions. So Japan will move on. And they will face Venezuela in the quarterfinal. Tough quarterfinal game for them. Could be tougher. Venezuela is a great team. Yamamoto's pitching. He's starting. So that's good for Japan. Do you know what Venezuela's got throwing out there yet? Do you know?
Ranger Suarez.
Ranger Suarez. So yeah, that's a great pitching matchup. That's probably the best pitching matchup so far in this tourney. And Venezuela versus Japan. And then it'll be Korea versus Dominican Republic. So those are going to be some good games, man. I would love... I've fallen in love with Korea, bro.
Their pitching, man, it's going to be ugly against the
I
Dominican
fought-
Republic.
I just love I just want to see a bunch of Korean people crying, dude, and just being like, "This, we waited so long. It was worth it. The task force worked. We beat Dominican Republic, dude." But they're gonna get pissed when they see all the fucking dancing, bro. Am I right or am I right?
They're big bat flippers in Korea.
They say that, but do they dance in Korea? In Japan?
Not like the
You know what I'm
Dominican.
saying? They call America's sticklers. All these crackers. They don't like to fucking dance and bat flip. But I feel like Japan and Korea, if Dominican starts doing the dances, I bet they'll get nasty on the comments too.
I could see it.
Would that piss off like in Japanese baseball? I don't know why I'm asking you. Like you probably don't even know.
Yeah. I mean,
You didn't even live in Korea.
I feel like their players are kind of showmen, so they would understand that element.
The dancing.
But the dancing is the thing where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, they say that MPB and KBO, they bat flip, but it's a different type of bat flip. It's a subtle, just,
It's like an art.
you're not just going to stand there and go, LeBron James it. It's more, you flip it and you hit it and then you throw the bat. But I think, like, they don't like showboating a lot. I feel like there's not a lot of showboating in Asian baseball. Just like there's not in American baseball. But I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see the comments after Fernando Tatis Jr. just hits a 500-foot bomb against Hyunjin Ryu and does the Dougie around first base. Looking forward to it. So, dude, we got an ad read, guys. Jack, pull up, do the ad read.
You want me to do the ad read? I don't have the ad read.
I emailed it to you.
Well, keep going.
You don't remember that I emailed you the ad read? I got it right here. So before we get to the ad read, though, Venezuela versus Japan and Dominican Republic against Korea, we're going to get to the Dominican and the Venezuelan pool. But first, a word from today's sponsor. You want to guess the sponsor? It's our favorite sponsor.
Game time.
Ridge Wallet. That's rude. They didn't pay. Ridge Wallet. I got one right here. I've been rocking this ever since they sent me one. Tell me this doesn't look cool as shit.
No, those are pretty sick. I like the Ridge Wallets.
The color as well. Sorry, I'm getting texts and shit. Popular guy. I also got the key version. If you see this, you put this on your keys and you can get all your keys out. It's fire. So Ridge Wallet, it's one of the best ever. Take advantage of Ridge's once-a-year anniversary sale. Get up to 40% off if you go to ridge.com/PDE. Well, let's double check that. But I think it is PDE. And I'll tell you this much, guys, right now, we are getting sued. So if you don't buy a Ridge Wallet, you don't care about the podcast. I'm getting sued. Help us out. Buy a wallet. Let me tell you more about Ridge Wallet. They want a story about what I did before Wallet. Crusty leather brick wallet. I don't even remember what life was like before the Ridge Wallet. It's unique, it's slim, modern design, holds up to 12 cards plus cash. You might not think this has 12 cards in it. It doesn't, but it could. It's got probably eight cards in it, and it could fit more. It's also got cash right there in the clip, $20. Yeah, I keep it on me. It's just fucking tactical too. You put this in your pocket, you never go back because the big bulgy wallets, the big leather shit, it's very uncomfortable and it hurts your ass and it's bad for your posture. If you sit on your wallet, it's actually terrible for your ass.
Do you guys remember when we did a read for Ridge last year? Joey threw his wallet across the room. That's the same one.
Same one, baby.
Nothing fell out of it either.
Nope.
We should say.
Same one. Same one. Beautiful. Over 1,000 five-star reviews. They have RFID blocking technology, keeping it safe from digital pickpocketers, because ever got digitally pickpocketed?
No.
They have these now, I mean, this, information age, AI and shit, they can literally swap your pocket and steal your card information from it. It's bullshit. But when you have metal, you're good to go. 50 plus colors. You're gonna wanna pick this color, but a lot of sick colors. Please buy the Ridge Wallet, guys, because we'll stop doing the podcast again if you don't. And that's on God. Oh, I wouldn't say that, but we will stop doing the podcast if we don't sell at least 3 Ridge Wallets from this episode. So please do your part. Make sure you go to ridgewallet.com. They're having their once-a-year anniversary sale right now. Head to ridgewallet.com to get 40% off. That is 40% off at ridge.com. After you check out, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Make sure you show them our show. Tell them we sent you that. That's code PDE. It's code PDE, guys. Well, you guys aren't helping out, all right? PDE. I'm telling you, we're selling at least 3 Ridge Wallets this app. If someone wants to buy 3 Ridge Wallets, one for you, one for your dad, one for your mom, one for your brother, one for your sister, one for your boy, just use code PDE and everyone will be rich. Helps you make more money. Okay, moving on to Venezuela and Dominican's pool. The coolest pool of the brunch. I mean, my takeaway from this pool is basically the amount of swag that Dominican has is pretty terrifying, I'll be honest. Like, let me just read off the lineup for Dominican Republic and tell me this isn't the scariest shit you've heard. Fernando Tatis Jr., Ketel Marte, Juan Soto, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Manny Machado, Junior Caminero, Julio Rodriguez, Austin Wells, and Geraldo Perdomo. And I feel like this was missing a guy.
Don't forget Austin Wells.
Austin Wells is in there, yeah. Who else is in this lineup? I feel like they rested a guy in their last game. Oh, O'Neal Cruz is in there. But they've scored the most runs in the tournament. They have the most home runs in the tournament. They have 13 home runs. They're one shy of the WBC record. They're not even out of pool play. Let that sink in. Most RBIs in the tournament, most walks in the tournament, highest batting average on the tournament, highest on base percentage in the tournament, highest slugging percentage in the tournament, as well as the highest OPS in the tournament, 1,130 OPS. They got a 672 slugging, Mitch. That's bigger than some people's OPS they're slugging. That's crazy. So Tatis Jr., O'Neal Cruz, Vladimir Guerrero, Juan Soto, and Fernando Tatis Jr. all have 2 home runs already. And boy, did they let those home runs fly. And they really take a long time to follow the bases. I feel like they've really leaned in to playing the Dominican style. Like, I mean, it's the thing that everyone always says about baseball. It pisses me off, but you know, you'll see a team down like 5-0 and they're like, oh, they look dead. Well, it's like hard to celebrate when you're not hitting anything. But I mean, last tournament when they didn't make it a pool play, I don't remember them hitting the amount of sellies they've been hitting this year. I mean, did you see Cameron Arrow get hit?
Yeah.
Pretend to get hurt, and then just go ape shit and pump up the whole crowd? And he was probably doing it against like Team Israel or something, like a game. It was like a blowout. I think it was against Netherlands, and they were winning by like 10 runs. But their main rival, definitely Venezuela. What was Luis Arraez doing in this shit?
He decided to turn into Barry Bonds for Venezuela.
Luis Arraez, how many home runs did he have last year?
He had 8 home runs last year. Another YouTuber, Amad's Baseball, did a breakdown, and basically he looked at the 3 true outcomes: homer, walk, strikeout, and Arraez had the lowest rate in baseball by like 5%.
Meaning that
if you went to a game, like a 3-game series, you'd basically see Arraez either homer, strikeout, or walk just once in a 3-game series.
He doesn't home run unless it's the World Baseball Classic. So he has hit 2 home runs this World Baseball Classic already, 9 RBIs. He's batting 500, which is normal for him because he bats high batting averages, but he's slugging 1,200. And he hit one last year against the USA.
He hit 2.
Oh, so he has 4 home runs in 8 games?
Yeah, he has 2 singles in the World Baseball Classic.
Okay, really? So last year he hit 2 home runs as well?
He had a 2-homer game against the US.
Oh my gosh.
And then he had another 2-homer game. He had 1 homer this WBC where he didn't even have control of the bat.
Okay, so the guy just puts on for his country. That's what I'm hearing. Arraez, I want to say, had 4 home runs all season in 2024.
4 homers all season, yeah.
So in a whole season, he had 4 home runs, and I guess in 8 to 10 games, he already has 4 over 2 World Baseball Classics. He's on pace to be the best World Baseball Classic hitter of all time.
He's played 9 World Baseball Classic games. He has 11 hits. 5 of them are doubles, 4 of them are homers. And this is a guy who basically only hits singles in the regular season.
Very nice.
I think we went into this tournament thinking Ronald Acuna Jr. is Venezuela's best hitter. But Luis Arraez, Acuna had a great series.
Yeah,
too.
Acuna is also going off.
But it was Arraez.
And he had a beef with his own teammate as well. Another teammate beef, Chadwick Trump. Did you see that? So, I mean, Acuna just, if you watch Braves, you know Acuna does every time. If you throw within 3 inches of Acuna, he stares at you like you just hit his mom. You know, like he just gets so pissed. And I think it's just like an intimidation thing. He just wants to scare the pitcher after throwing inside on him. But I'll be honest, it definitely just makes the pitcher upset. I guess maybe he's trying to do a Juan Soto, make the pitcher upset. But I can see pitchers being annoyed because it's like, dude, it wasn't even really that close to you. You got to throw inside pitches. He acts like it's on purpose all the time. He stares at him twice. Pitcher starts chirping at him. Chadwick Trump, the catcher for the Braves, also catcher for the Netherlands, has to get in the way. Pretty funny stuff from Acuna. He's just a funny guy.
I think Trump was pretty much like, hey.
Bro.
And Acuna was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Well, Acuna's like, I'm not trying to fight him. I'm just trying to stare at him a little bit.
This was not like Will Smith and Randy Arozarena. It was like a brief conversation. You see the manager run out of the dugout, and then he just like runs straight back.
Yeah. So Netherlands gets smoked, man. I mean, Netherlands, they've done it in the past. Like I said, had great tournaments, upset the Dominican Republic in the past. I mean, if you look at this pool outside of Dominican and Venezuela, you got Israel, who end up going 2-2, but they get tricked by Mia Khalifa, so that hurts. Mia Khalifa says she's now Dominican because Dominican rampaged Israel. They beat them like 10-0 or something. They hit like 7 home runs.
It was not close.
You know what I'm saying? But Netherlands goes 1-3. That's crazy because the Netherlands, only reason they won that one game was like a miracle home run with Ozzy Albies.
Down 2, they get a bloop single, a double off the third base bag, and then a home run.
And that's against Nicaragua, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's another sad story because Nicaragua still hasn't won a game in WBC history. And, you know, they're not like Brazil or Great Britain. This is their top sport. That's baseball is their national sport. Who was it against? I believe it was the pitcher made like 2 errors and blew the game. It was against Netherlands. Yeah, you just said that. Did you miss? Wasn't there errors before that?
The 9th inning was just a bloop single and then a double off third base and then first pitch Ozzy Albies homers.
Okay. Well, I just know that there was some crying on the mound, but not in a happy way. Like
I mean, that was as soon as he allowed the homer, the pitcher had to kind of be helped off the field.
Yeah. Yep. Soul crushing loss to the Netherlands. I don't have much on Israel. I didn't watch a pitch of their games. And
I think I only watched them play Venezuela, and their defense was pretty bad. They had Harrison Bader, who you expect to be pretty good defensively, and I saw him misread a ball, and then there was one defensive miscommunication in the outfield, and you're like, oh. But they went 2-2.
Yeah. I mean, this pool was very top heavy with Dominican Republic and Venezuela. They played in that final game last night, which was an electric game in Miami. The Dominican, Venezuelan fans show out, go crazy. Oh, did you see the clip of Miguel Carrera getting it from the dugout, though?
No.
You didn't see that? I told you about it. Like,
not last night.
No.
Okay, yeah, I did see that.
Because I guess he supported the former leader, was, friends with the government back when he was, MVP of the league. Now the government has been overthrown. And now he's getting shit in the dugout. They're fighting the fans in the dugout. Things are getting crazy. Things are getting political. So Dominican and Venezuela move on. Do you have any hot takes about these teams?
When the pools were released, I was thinking it would be a good thing that Puerto Rico was separated from this pool, because in 2023 it just felt unfair. You have Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Venezuela, all 3 big baseball powerhouses. But man, I didn't feel like there was ever any doubt. I mean, I think the Dominican Republic and Venezuela clinched by their second game, moving on. And then at that point, it was kind of a formality.
Yeah.
So the games themselves were fun to watch, but the stakes felt really low.
Yeah, I mean, last night they still pitched out. Who pitched last night?
Alcantara.
Alcantara, and then Venezuela threw. Oh, no, it wasn't Alcantara. Oh, it was Eduardo Rodriguez for Venezuela versus Alcantara. So they definitely took it seriously. They were trying to win the game, and it was a very fun game. But at the same time, it's like, is that a bad thing? I mean, if there are 2 teams that are obviously better than everybody else, like, let them skate through. They deserve it. I mean, I don't think Puerto Rico would have been much a threat against these guys either way, anyway.
No, definitely in 2023 was a bigger deal because Puerto Rico was at full strength. But now you kind of feel like Puerto Rico just coasted in because their pool was a lot easier. We were talking about Cuba being weaker than they normally have been in the past. And I think that showed in this tournament. It's not saying that Cuba is bad at baseball now, but they're obviously a weaker team. And then Panama and Colombia, like, we're celebrating that Canada got in past pool play for the first time, but they didn't really have a lot.
No, that was the easiest pool. I think I said last tournament that the USA was in the easiest pool of all time. That was not the case. Canada, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Colombia, and Panama Definitely the weakest pool this time, just because also Puerto Rico is highly hurt. But Puerto Rico moves on, Canada moves on, USA moves on, Italy moves on, Japan moves on, Korea moves on, Dominican Republic moves on, Venezuela moves on. Jack, who do you think is going to win?
I mean, I think the U.S. will win.
Okay, well, who do you think is going to win between Korea and Dominican Republic?
Dominican Republic.
Who do you think is going to win United States, Canada?
United States.
Who do you think is going to win Puerto Rico or Italy?
Puerto Rico. I feel like are they? How are they for real? Like pretty close.
Pretty close, very close. They're about even odds.
I'm gonna go Puerto Rico.
Venezuela versus Japan.
Japan.
Japan versus Puerto Rico.
Japan.
Dominican Republic versus United States.
United States.
United States versus Japan.
United States.
Damn.
But I just love upsets, bro. I love underdogs.
You didn't pick one
You love
upset.
underdogs?
You didn't
No, I'm
pick
saying
one.
I hesitated at the end because it's like I think it'd be sick for Japan to beat the U.S. But
They did last time, bro. You think that'd be sick? Damn, you're a fake American.
I think the coolest upset would be Canada beating the U.S.
You're so lame, bro. I can't stand people like you. You
I
don't
know,
like
the
to
skin in
watch
the
the
game.
squad, like the country win?
Not really, dude. I mean, you know, I'm a big MMA fan. It's like when I watch those fights, I don't give a fuck if there's one American,
Well, yeah, that's
one
that's
Brazilian.
different. They're not representing a country. It's like
That's true. I guess these are
you don't
literally.
have any
representing a country.
tribalist instinct to be like, okay, that's where I'm from. Everyone I know is from there, so I like that.
No,
We
I
are the
don't. I
best.
really don't. I
Damn.
truly don't.
This guy has.
I think you just hire people who don't have.
You guys
a
don't
lot of
belong to
American
anything.
pride.
You guys aren't. You guys are just
A
so
modern patriot, dude. I love Americans.
Well, you don't want to root for the Americans then?
I mean, I am, I guess. I don't know. I love Japan. Japan's an awesome place, dude. Wonderful people. They're also polite. They're admirable. They're honest.
I feel like if Joey goes to Japan, he's never coming back.
Why? Because they're so. What's so good about Japan?
Dude, you'll be fucking
What do they have-
tall over there, dude. You'll be handsome.
What
People
are-
will be like, whoa, what a cool accent.
Yeah. Wow, you know a lot about. You know
could be your
Shohei
life.
Ohtani. Wow. What does Japan have that we don't?
A lot of trains
Yeah. You might-
The
yeah.
most autistic response.
I
and
know.
great 7-Elevens.
Shocker. The baseball researcher likes trains.
Shocking.
All right, Mitchell. Do you want to make a prediction?
I think the one upset would be Italy over Puerto Rico. I
Which-
think Italy's pitching has just been fantastic. So
I mean,
far. We
but
talk
they're-
about the offense, but their pitching has been lights out.
Yeah. I mean, Aranola last night.
Yeah. Their starting pitchers allowed 2 runs the entire time, and 3 of them, Lorenzen, Nola, and Aldegari, didn't allow a single run. And then their offense, they were doing the first 3 games without Vinny Pascantino, who is probably the most notable hitter on the team. They did that without him getting a single hit. Like
Yeah.
he did hit 3 homers last night, but that wasn't a game. I guess it did matter, but the bigger games, the game against the U.S., he didn't do anything. They have an offense that just is surprisingly. I don't get it. I don't get how they're so good.
Get hot at the right time.
And I think Dominican Republic just beats U.S. I think that offense is scary. The U.S. will have Skeens on a 95 pitch limit, I think.
Oh yeah.
Is it 80 or
well,
90?
yeah, 80 for the quarterfinal. So maybe 90 for the semifinal.
So that would probably neutralize, but their whole lineup is just offensive hitters.
Dog, Paul Skeens versus Dominican Republic. I mean, come on, bro. This is the best game of all time. This is why the World Baseball Classic is so that's like insane shit. Paul Skeens versus Dominican Republic.
He's probably the only pitcher who will be able to neutralize the Dominican Republic.
I mean, can you think of a guy who's less of a Dominican player than Paul Skeens? Like, I mean, the whole conversation is how like, whoa, the USA is a bunch of boring white guys, and Dominican Republic and all these teams actually have fun. And look at all these boring white guys, and they're doing dumb salutes. Aaron Judge is cringe, and he does boring fucking Mayo-ass speeches. And then you have Paul Skeens, just the most stoic-ass, no celebration-ass motherfucker, going against Dominican Republic and all their little fucking fruity dances, and just strikes them out and says, motherfucker, we don't give a fuck. America's the best. We're going to bomb everyone. And they're going to do the edits. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. The narrative.
So my prediction is Dominican Republic and Japan final.
I think you're wrong, brother. First of all, I'm worried. My upset prediction, at least upset worrying it, is Venezuela, Japan. Venezuela can hit. Venezuela can catch some momentum. I don't know who's pitching for Venezuela. Do we know? Who do they got available? They don't have Pablo Lopez.
Venezuela, Japan is Suarez.
Suarez. So Ranger Suarez, their best pitcher.
They're facing Yamamoto.
Yeah, fire against fire. It's only going to make a bigger fire. This game's going to catch on fire. You got Shohei in an elimination game, so you can that's one home run. So, but yeah, Japan versus Venezuela. I just want to see Dominican United States so bad. That's going to be fun. I think Italy beats Puerto Rico, and then Japan beats Italy, and then USA versus Dominican. Honestly, bro, I will say I'm picking United States because I wore the whole outfit.
But like deep in your heart, you know that the
Dominican right now, I feel like no one's beating them. The shit I've seen the Dominican play, like those guys are. I mean, they all have 2 home runs each. They're hot as fuck.
Even O'Neal Cruz has 2 home runs.
He
has like 3 at bats.
I know. Like, I mean, and they're just on some. They seem to be on a mission. That's the team that seems like last year it was like Japan. They seemed like the team of destiny. Right now it's Dominican. They're coming off like a terrible tournament last time. A lot of drama in the off the field. A big disappointment, and like, but all you've seen from them is just guys having fun, hitting fucking bombs, and going crazy. So like, as an American fan, I'm not gonna say that doesn't scare me. But if there's anyone who can stop them, it's Paul motherfucking Skeens. Just don't let us lose to Canada, man. That would be embarrassing. That would ruin. I mean, if it's Dominican versus Canada,
that's just a bloodbath of a semifinal.
But don't sleep on my Korean people, bro. They could fucking beat Dominican.
I don't think so.
The whole country's behind them.
Like, I really think Korea's pitching does not stand a chance against this offense.
Whose does?
The US's.
The US's. And the US has something to prove now, all right? They were kicking us while we were down. They were spitting in our faces. They're saying, oh, look at them. They don't take it seriously. They suck. They're so stupid. They hired a freaking TV host to be the manager. They don't even deserve it. We're going to prove them wrong. Okay. Any final thoughts?
I'll be at the semifinal in Miami. Probably be the Japan game, I think, is the one I'll be at.
All right, another classic, find Mitch. Who'll find Mitch first? Whoever finds a picture of Mitch, you got to take a picture with Mitch. You got to post it. You got to tag PDE.
No alcohol in the photo, though.
Well, of course.
Unk rules. Can't wait to get Unk back on to talk about Ozuna getting traded or leaving the Braves. I already kind of know his thoughts on that, but I think he needs to make an announcement.
He'll transition. He's prepared. He's prepared for Zuna to move away and do whatever. We've talked to him about it. He's got what do you call it? What's the word for like a backup plan?
Contingencies?
Yes. Oh, I heard a rumor that the home run derby is going to be on Netflix this year.
I think it is, yeah. Opening day's on Netflix.
That's sick.
Let's go.
That'll be the most watched home run derby of all time, I bet. If it's on Netflix?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, in Japan, we didn't talk about that, but these games in Japan are all on Netflix. All the World Baseball Classic in Japan is on Netflix. But Japan, they don't really fuck with Netflix, I guess.
Like
only
17% of the population has Netflix there.
Yeah, so it's pissing a lot of people off, and then the old Japanese people, and it's big in Japanese culture, you gotta respect your elders. Moving the games to Netflix, that's not respectful to elders who might not be caught up on streaming services. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they have the old Netflix where you have to get the DVDs in the mail, but you can't get the WBC games in the mail till it's too late. So I think that's definitely gonna hurt the viewership, if you can even look at viewership right now through Netflix. Like, I don't know if they...
It's not public, I don't think.
Yeah, so that was the best thing about last year.
I think Netflix had a big misstep with trying to buying the exclusive rights to the WBC in Japan. They paid like what 100 billion yen or something ridiculous like that.
Well, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Or 100
yeah, 100 billion yen. Yeah, it was like $60 million, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
And Netflix has buku money though, bro. They're buying up sports right now.
It was
That's
like
their
5
goal.
times more than whoever had the rights last World Baseball Classic. But what they didn't realize is that no one was going to sign up for Netflix.
No one?
I think they did a survey, and it was like only 2% of the people that they surveyed said they were going to sign up for Netflix specifically because of the World Baseball Classic.
And how are they going to watch it?
They couldn't watch it in bars. I don't even know how.
So no one's watching it.
I do wonder how the viewership.
I mean, I saw that stat too. You can't. I don't know if you can trust that. Some survey about how everyone's mad in Japan because it used to be. I guess I don't know. The way I made it seem like they would just put these games out for free on public access TV kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
just,
NK.
all you needed was an antenna.
Yeah, and so it wasn't really. It was kind of looked at like where you're gonna make it cost money, you motherfuckers. We're used to that over here at this point. Except people still complain about streaming. It's annoying.
I think one of the bigger issues too was, in addition to like older people not being able to watch games, the culture of like going to bars and watching the games. That's a big deal. And Netflix was basically like saying you can't use it for commercial purposes.
I saw that too. I haven't looked. I bet they're watching at the bars. I can't imagine you go to a bar in Japan and the fucking Team Samurai Japan is on and they don't have it on TV. I just cannot see that being a thing.
I saw one
and they
bar,
also made a rule that you can't bring your phone and film the stadium. People are still filming the stadium. I know they reversed it, but like that was a crazy rule. Like Netflix really did put out a rule and was like, listen, you can't film in the stadium. No videos. Not even like you're streaming it for Twitch. Like you can't even film the field.
But isn't that true everywhere?
No.
I mean, like when we were going to whatever, been to a couple stadiums, I guess, by now, and it's like I can't bring in a camera of a certain size.
Yeah, if it's like professional grade.
Yeah, so I have to like dumb it down. But I guess that's true. They still like let me do it.
Yeah, I guess if you're using it for commercial purposes, you might have a chance. You might have a problem. They got Dodger Films back in the day. If you know, you know. Anything else? If not, we'll wrap it up. We'll be back after the World Baseball Classic to recap the World Baseball Classic. Mitchell might not be here, guys, because he's going to the World Baseball Classic because he's a selfish piece of shit. We got to stay here.
You take Jack.
Jack, you want to go?
To Miami?
Yeah.
Let's go, buddy.
He's a Florida boy. You know. But maybe Mitchell can get him in on the Zoom. We'll see. Anyway, please like, please subscribe, please comment and share.
Ridge Wallet,
code PDE. It's important. Ridge Wallet.
It's important for you too, not just us. It's important for you, dude. Secure your fucking credit cards, bro. Your shit's falling out of your back pocket. Cards sliding between the crack in your seat. It's ridiculous. Grow up. Ridge Wallet.
Grow up. Get a Ridge
Code
Wallet.
PDE.
Code PDE. And that's it. Thank you, guys.